Oftentimes as producers, we get hung up on the idea that we need the latest and greatest plugins or equipment in order to make good music. This obsession could sometimes cripple us and prevent us from even getting the ball rolling and starting your first beat. Not knowing that if we look just a little harder at the resources we already had, we would know that we had everything we needed right in front of us. In this video, I'm going to show you that you don't need all the fancy gear in order to make good music and create a beat using mainly stock plugins directly in Ableton. Now let's get started. So when I first started this beat, I started with this instrument directly out of Analog called E Piano Muted Pure. And this is how it sounds. Then I went ahead and added Ableton's compressor and stock EQ just to clean up the sound a bit. Then I went ahead and added Ableton's shifter just to add a little bit of tremolo and color. Then I widened the sound using Ableton's delay with a technique called a house effect. And then I added a pad directly out of Ableton's Collision called Sandman Pad. And this is how it sounds. On this pad, I added just a bit of EQ for this cleanup. So at this point, I knew I had a good foundation, but it was missing something. So I added this pluck called Drippy Cave out of Ableton's Collision. After that, I decided to add one more sound just to glue it all together. And I used the Vintage saw keys out of Ableton's Analog. On this sound, I added some EQ, I widened the sound, and I also added some echo to give it some bounce. So now that the melody is complete, I decided to add a bass line. So this is why I said mainly, because I actually use a third-party plugin to create the bass line. I know, cheated, but the good thing is this plugin is free. It's called Keybase, and you can download it straight from the internet, again for free. Here's how the bass sounds. So now at this point, I wanted to add my percussive elements and get my drums going. So I first started with this percussion loop. On this loop, I added a bit of EQ and some saturation. Here's the before. And after. I then started to add some more drums. And on the kick, I added some EQ and saturation. I then went ahead and added a rim shot. I then added a hi-hat. On the hi-hat, I added some EQ, widened it a bit, and then panned it to the left. I then added an open hi-hat. And on the open hi-hat, I added some EQ, some saturation. I widened it a bit, and then I panned it to the left. After that, I added another hi-hat for some more percussion. And there you have it. That's a full beat. And I really do like how this one came out. I like this beat a lot more than some of the other beats that I've made using third-party plugins. It just really goes to show that you don't need those fancy smanchy plugins to create good music. You have mostly everything you need directly in Ableton. So after making the beat, I went ahead and arranged it and came up with this final product. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up because it really does help the channel out a lot. Let me know in the comments below what other video ideas you want to see next. Here's the final beat, and we'll see you next time. Peace.